Welcome everybody to the channel. It's time to put the machine together. I have a change of plans in a few things. The first one is, well, I guess the only one, it will be the SD drive. Instead of using the SD drive, I'm gonna use an M2 drive. This will be at least 4 times faster than the SD drive. And the reason why I got the M2 drive is because I have another build that I'm planning to make. So while I was getting parts, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way. Any other upgrades, like lighting or anything like that, I'm gonna let the machine speak to me, and then we'll bling it up later on. But for the meantime, making this step in replacing the SD drive to an M2 drive will be a huge impact on performance, on the positive side, of course. So I just went ahead and did that from the beginning. I have a plan for this one, so that will actually work out perfectly for another upgrade that I'm planning on doing. So at the end it will work out. I'll let you guys know when everything is ready and where to watch it and when to watch. For this build, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the power supply, which again, I got 2 of those because of another build that I have coming up. So I'll install the power supply first, route all the cabling, and before start putting everything together, I'll make sure that I'll look at my motherboard diagram again, and I'll have that on the screen so I can follow the wiring diagram where each lead is supposed to be plugged in, and this way I don't make any mistakes. The next thing I'm going to do is obviously install the motherboard, and before I actually touch any of the components or anything like that, I want to make sure that I'm touching the case and discharging my body from any accumulated static electricity that could have potentially accumulated as I'm moving about. So that's a rule of thumb. I do not have any grounding straps or anything like that, so you have to make sure that you at least touch the case to discharge yourself as you are handling the components. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up and begin putting this puppy together. Okay, now that we have our motherboard in place, let's go ahead and secure it. I'm gonna grab the bag, label motherboard, SSD, screws, and this actually came with the case. Now all the studs are pre-installed in this case, and all we have to do is just simply line them up. There's gonna be a little bit of resistance because the back plate has some contact points that they push against the connectors on the back. And one thing I would like to point out is that you simply just hand tight this. You don't need to go too crazy on it. This is not a car, and it's not gonna go off-road unless you're gonna put it in the car and then go off-road. In that case, yeah. Which brings me to a valid point. When you do transport this in your vehicle or what have you, especially long distance travel, before powering it on when you get to your destination, do make sure that everything is secure. There is a possibility that things can shift, get unplugged, and perhaps cause issues later on. Now, also, if for whatever reason you don't have all the screws, you at least want to put screws in the areas where you're going to be potentially putting cables in and out, if the case may be. For example, like power plugs, you do want to make sure that if you need to unplug it, that the board just doesn't snap in half or what have you. The same thing with the cards. So say for example you just have 4 screws, definitely this area here and back there. In our case, we have all the screws. The reason why the screw holes line up is because the configuration of this board as an ATX is pretty much the same across all platforms. If this would be a micro, again the same thing. Those studs that you see there line up with any kind of configuration, and that's typically the default setting. Alright, so all the screws are in place. We're gonna go ahead next and start plugging our cables in. Now that we have everything secure, let's go ahead and remove these screws from here. We might probably need these later on. I do plan to install a regular spinning SATA drive for just regular storage. So I'm gonna need these screws for later. In the meantime, let's just go ahead and put them away. So I've been looking, of course, at the diagram, making sure that I have all the cables that I need, and only the stuff that I need. This one's not gonna have a GPU card, so I did not install the PCIe power cables from the power supply. if I decide to upgrade it later on, I do have the choice to go ahead and just easily install them and just route them from any of these openings down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start from the top over here. Doesn't matter the order, of course. These are kind of tight. I don't like how. Yeah, I won't be able to make that turn. And this here powers the CPU. These two. They are in series, and nothing really special. You know why? Yeah, two is just simply for better connectivity. So let me go ahead and move those cables. I'm probably gonna come out this way. This one here is for the case fans, and they're also connected in series. And the case came with 3 fans, 2 in front and 1 back. So I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this one into something is labeled system fan. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 system fans. I think it's that one's 6. Yeah, 6. This one here is for the water pump, and this for the CPU fan. But I'm gonna go ahead and let's just choose this one, and it only goes in one way. Now this one has 3 prongs versus a 4-prong connector, and typically is, if I'm not mistaken, is for speed, variance, and other sensors that the fan may probably have or be equipped with. So okay, so that's that. Let me go ahead and reroute those to come out over here. I initially had it that way, and I thought I was be able to make that turn, but no. I really don't like the cables to be taking that drastic turn like that. You're just asking for trouble. I do have the space, and I can just simply just pop them out this way, and have them given the chance to just naturally turn into the socket. Okay, yeah, that definitely feels a lot better. Oh, my ODC is kicking in. Let's move this guy out of the way. I don't want this to be under this other cable, because it's just gonna end up pulling on it and restricting this guy too. So, oh yeah, definitely feels a lot better. Okay, now the clip is gonna go towards the outside, away from the board. It does go in one way. The connectors themselves are key. Some of them have round edges, some of them have square edges, so there's no way you can mix them up. Okay, let's see. and this is why you want to route the cables so they can take a natural path. I would have never be able to connect those there if I would have come up out of this opening on that side, or if I would have this other connector or this other cable in the way, which would have impeded this cable to swing up. Now trying to make it a little bit more tidy, yeah, I mean, if you want to, but I'd rather have it just sit there naturally without any forcing turns. I don't want this cable to pull on any of the connectors or cause too much stress on the board, which would definitely cause a lot of stuff happening in there, especially if this is going to be supplying the power to your CPU area and anything that goes with it, the voltage regulators in there, the filters, capacitors and stuff like that. You definitely want to have this thing to be solid without any stress. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in this guy here. These cables, this here came with the case, and they're coming from this board on top, which has the USBs, the audio cable, as well as the power button, as well as an LED light. There's also this cable labeled SATA. I'm not quite sure what this is for. I'm gonna have to look in the case manual and see what it's for. Alright, so let's go ahead and plug in the USB. This type of connector, I have two of them, one over here and another one down here. Again, it doesn't matter which order or which socket this will be plugged in. It only goes in one way. That's for most likely the regular USB. This one here is for the high-speed USB, and it goes into this one. It's only one of them. Okay, let's see. Now these two here, they're not. Now there's a dot on this one, and this one is labeled audio. So I'm gonna go ahead, find my audio port, which is all the way over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and route it this way. It is key. There's one opening that is blocked off, and there's a pin that is missing on that one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and orientate that the right way, and there it is. Later on, I'll try to route it a little bit better. If it stays like that, that's fine. So I presume that this one is for my on and off button. This one is key. It's not labeled. It has a white square on it, but it's not labeled. It is key as well, and the blocked port is the one on the corner, which matches with this one here. Now, when previously examining the instructions, which you see on the screen, we did discover that the power button and the reset button block is over here on this side. So I can definitely say that this is the right connector for that. Go ahead and line it up. Make sure that all the pins are inserted. I don't have anything missing. Again, I can. Thankfully, the basement can easily hide any excess cable, but I can always come back and strain up or tie up the excess that may be down there. You won't be able to see it anyway. Okay, so this one here is for LED light. There's only one of this type. No, actually, there's another one over here. I like. And then there are three types. These here are for more like common lights, LED lights. This one here is for more for control lights with more effects. So this one is also key, which matches with this one over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Now I did examine the motherboard instructions, and sure enough, this one matches the description for an LED connector. And make sure that it's lining up. Okay, there you go. I got a satisfactory click out of that, so that tells me it is in there. I do like to have a nice and clean setup, so as much as I can, I try to route the cables as close up as possible to its destination. But sometimes that's not possible. For example, like this ATX power cable, the same situation with this one here. If I would have come out too close onto the port, yeah, I wouldn't have that natural curve to it. I don't want to put too much stress on any of the power cables, so that's why I routed on the bottom one. So this way, when again, and also they are key, so the sequence will match with this here, because this is an ATX motherboard, this is an ATX cable. If this will be for a different type, these four connectors here are removable. So I'm gonna go ahead plug it in with the matching the latch, which is on the outside of the board, towards the outside. Let's see, also do not lean on the board. Like if you are trying to put this through the ground, it's not necessary. Little back and forth movements will ensure that you don't break the board or crack the board, which is the same thing. So the plastic is meeting the socket, and although I didn't hear it clicking, by visually inspecting that the socket is against the plug, I can
can say that yes, that is in there. Okay, so it looks like this is gonna be its natural position. Again, I do not want to stress the socket. And anything else down here is for the SATA drive that I will be installing later on. This guy here, I'm gonna have to research, see why do I have that coming out from the case. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'll be able to deal with that very easily later on. Alright, so that's it for the wiring. Probably tie this here if I need to, but yeah, that's it. Next, I'm gonna be installing the heatsink mount, the CPU, memory, and the drive.
Alright, that was a good video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.